Welcome to Fluency English Journal. Take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. And remember, you are safe here. And I want you to really lean into that feeling of safety today, because we are going to talk about something incredibly frustrating. Something that, well, honestly, it brings up a heavy sense of shame for many of us. Let me ask you a few questions. How many grammar rules have you memorized over the years? How many notebooks have you filled with vocabulary words? How many hours have you spent sitting quietly in your room, listening to native speakers on YouTube or in podcasts? You know the vocabulary, you understand the complex sentences when you read them, you understand the voices in your headphones perfectly. But when it is your turn to speak, everything changes. Your lips freeze, your throat tightens up, your tongue suddenly feels like it weighs 100 pounds. Your voice just disappears. And suddenly, your mind, which was so full of great ideas just a second ago, goes completely blank. You sit there feeling incredibly awkward. You feel the heat rising in your cheeks. You force a polite smile and nod, while inside, you are silently screaming. Because you are an intelligent adult, you have complex thoughts, deep emotions, and valuable opinions. You know exactly what you want to say. You just cannot physically get the words out. And I know the painful story you tell yourself in those silent moments. You tell yourself that you are just bad at English. You think maybe you aren't smart enough, or maybe your memory is failing you. You wonder why everyone else makes it look so effortless while you are struggling just to say hello. But my friend, that is a lie. You are not stupid. Your English isn't even bad. The real problem, the shocking truth that nobody ever told you in all those years of traditional schooling, is that your mouth is simply untrained. You see, we often treat English like it is a math problem. We try to solve it purely in our heads. We read, we watch, we listen, but we do not train our physical speaking muscles. Think about it like this. Imagine you read 100 books about how to do a push-up. You study the exact angle of the elbows. You memorize the biomechanics of the chest muscles. You can explain the perfect push-up to anyone in the room. But you have never actually gotten on the floor and done one. What happens the first time you try? You collapse, not because you don't understand the theory, not because you lack the intelligence, but because your physical muscles are simply too weak. That is exactly what is happening to your English fluency right now. You know the words, but your mouth has never been trained to move fast, smoothly, and confidently in this new language. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw, they are a little lazy. They're deeply used to the comfortable, familiar rhythm of your native language. They don't know how to handle the speed, the stress, and the unique sound patterns of English. So, of course you freeze. Of course your speech comes out feeling broken, nervous, or unnatural. You've been training your memory for years, but you haven't spent even 5 minutes training your mouth. English isn't just in your head. It is a physical action. It lives in your lips, your breath, your sound flow. And until you realize that speaking is a muscular activity, you will always feel like something is missing. You will remain a passive learner, trapped in a lifetime of silence. You will go to job interviews and say nothing. You will meet people from around the world and you will just smile quietly. You want to express your heart, but your mouth creates an invisible physical prison. But today, that cycle ends. We are going to wake up those muscles. We are going to break that fear. And I know exactly how heavy that fear can feel. Because, well, I have been trapped in that exact same prison. Let me share something with you that I don't talk about very often. Years ago, long before I ever started this channel, I found myself at a small, crowded networking event. I had spent weeks preparing for it. I had memorized all these advanced, beautiful vocabulary words. I knew every grammar rule inside and out. I felt mentally invincible. But then, a friendly native speaker walked up to me and asked a very simple question. Just, what are you working on these days? My brain instantly formulated the perfect, complex answer. I had the entire paragraph ready in my mind. But when I opened my mouth to speak, my body betrayed me. My jaw felt completely locked. My tongue tripped over the very first word. I tried to force it out, focusing so hard on pronouncing every single letter with perfect accuracy. I am currently working on... I sounded like a broken mechanical toy. The rhythm was completely unnatural. I could feel the heat rising in my neck. The man looking at me tilted his head, gave me that polite, pitying smile we all know too well, and quickly found an excuse to walk away. I remember rushing to the bathroom, locking the door, and just staring at myself in the mirror. My eyes were tearing up. I felt so humiliated. I thought, why am I so stupid? Why can't I just talk like a normal human being? But looking back now, I realize I wasn't stupid at all. My brain was fully prepared. Well, actually, my brain was over-prepared. It was my mouth that failed me. My mouth had absolutely zero muscle memory for the English language. I was trying to sprint a marathon without ever learning how to walk. That painful moment in the bathroom mirror was my turning point. That was when I realized the core truth that changed everything for my fluency. And it is the exact mindset shift I want you to embrace today. Here is the shift. You need to stop trying to speak in words and start speaking in music. Let me explain what I mean by that. We are taught in school to speak English one word at a time. We want to be so perfectly accurate that we separate every single sound. I am going to the store. We speak like strict robots because we are terrified of making a grammatical mistake. But fluent speakers, they don't do that. They do something beautiful. They speak in what we call sound clusters. They don't speak isolated words. They speak in groups of sounds that blend, connect, and flow like a natural melody. They link words, they drop extra sounds, and they ride the rhythm of the breath. Instead of strictly pronouncing, "What are you doing?" they blend it into one smooth breath. What you doing? Instead of carefully saying, "Did you eat?" it becomes one fluid sound. Did you eat? It is fast, it is blended, and it is incredibly smooth. And when you finally realize this, the heavy weight of perfectionism falls off your shoulders. Fluency is not about having a massive dictionary in your head or a perfect Hollywood accent. It is simply about physical comfort. It is about allowing your words to flow in these sound clusters, building that muscle memory until your mouth moves automatically. When you stop obsessing over whether your grammar is 100% perfect and instead focus on how your mouth physically dances with the sounds, that is when the magic happens. You stop being a nervous translating student and you start becoming a natural, expressive speaker. You stop calculating and you start flowing. And the most beautiful part? You don't need years to build this physical fluency. You just need a new kind of daily habit, a practice that trains the physical muscles of your face, not just the memory banks of your mind. So, how do we actually do this? How do we build this muscle memory when we are sitting alone in our rooms?
So, how do we actually do this? How do we build this physical muscle memory when we are sitting all alone in our rooms, feeling completely disconnected? We do it by stepping into a simple, daily training system. But listen to me, we're not just going to repeat random, boring textbook phrases about going to the supermarket. We are going to mentally walk through the 3 most terrifying, panic-inducing moments of any real-world conversation, starting, continuing, and ending. And we are going to give your mouth the exact musical phrases it needs to navigate them effortlessly. Let's imagine the first scenario together. Starting the conversation. You are standing near a coworker at the coffee machine, or maybe you are the very first one to join an online video call. The silence is heavy. Your heart is beating a little too fast. Normally, you would just stare down at your phone, right? You would pretend to read a very important email just to avoid eye contact. But not anymore. First, you're going to do a tiny, invisible physical warm-up. Take a deep breath and just let your jaw loosen slightly. Drop that tight tension in your cheeks. Now, we're going to use a sound cluster. Instead of forcing your brain to create a complicated, grammatically perfect question, you are going to lean in and use a simple phrase of connection. Let's use the phrase, "What do you think?" But remember our new rule. We are not just robots. We don't say, "What do you think?" We blend it into a gentle, welcoming song. Say it with me right now, wherever you are. What do you think? Feel how those harsh words melt together into one smooth, warm unit. What do you think? When someone is talking about a new project, or even just complaining about the weather, you don't need a brilliant response. You just nod softly, look them in the eye, and say, "What do you think?" Suddenly, you have started a conversation, and your mouth feels completely relaxed because you practiced the melody, not the grammar. Now let's move to the second scenario, continuing the flow. This is the moment of maximum pressure. You're in the middle of a sentence, you're actually doing great, and then suddenly, your brain just deletes a word. Complete blank. Panic strikes instantly, your chest tightens, and you feel that terrible urge to freeze. You want to apologize profusely, or just stop talking completely and hide. In this exact moment, fluent speakers do not have a magical dictionary in their heads. They just have better filler phrases. They know how to buy themselves time without looking scared. So, your physical toolkit here is the simple phrase, "Give me a minute." Let's put this through what I call the fluency loop. We practice it at 3 different speeds to build that automatic muscle reaction. First, incredibly slow and clear. Give me a minute. Feel the muscles moving. Now, normal and smooth. Give me a minute. Now, fast and linked, like a confident native speaker, casually buying time. Give me a minute. When you lose your word in real life, you don't panic anymore. You don't freeze. You just smile, hold up a hand gently, and say, give me a minute. What is the word? You stay in complete control of the rhythm. You look confident, even when you are actively searching for vocabulary. Finally, let's look at the third scenario, ending the conversation gracefully. This is where so many of us feel incredibly awkward. The conversation is naturally dying down, the energy is fading, but you simply don't know how to escape without sounding rude. You just stand there, shifting your weight from one foot to the other, offering fake little laughs, hoping the other person will walk away first. We need a smooth, confident exit cluster. The phrase is, "I have got to go." But again, we do not pronounce every sharp mechanical letter. We soften it, we own it, we blend it into, "I gotta go." I want you to use the mirror technique for this one. Tonight, stand in front of your bathroom mirror, look yourself right in the eyes, build that actual speaking presence, smile warmly, and say, "It was so nice talking to you, but I gotta go." Say it 5 times. Notice how your lips move. Watch your own confidence grow in the reflection. If you consistently train your mouth to say, "I gotta go," to your own reflection, your mouth will automatically know exactly what to do when you need to politely, confidently walk away from a real person. You are giving your muscles the script before the play even begins. You are replacing your quiet panic with physical preparation. You are replacing your quiet panic with physical preparation. And as you begin to practice this new physical routine in your room, I want to make sure we truly understand the deep feelings in the exact words we use today. Let's take a slow, gentle walk through some of the vocabulary from our journal entry today. I will explain them simply, using easy words, so you can really feel their true meaning in your heart. In the beginning of our time together today, I said that not being able to speak is incredibly frustrating. The word is frustrating. To understand this feeling, I want you to imagine that you have a very important key. You put the key into the door of your own house. You want to go inside. You turn the key and you push the door and you turn it again, but the door simply will not open. You were doing everything exactly right. You were trying so hard. You were pushing with all your body, but nothing happens. That tired, heavy, and slightly angry feeling you get in your chest, the feeling that makes you want to cry just a little bit, that is what it means to feel frustrating. Learning English grammar for 10 years but still staying silent is a deeply frustrating experience. Later on, we talked about how you might feel incredibly awkward when you cannot find the right words in front of someone. The word is awkward. Imagine you walk into a very quiet room full of important people. Suddenly, you drop a heavy glass on the floor. It breaks into pieces with a very loud noise. Everyone stops talking. Every single person looks right at you. Your face gets very hot. You do not know where to put your hands. You look down at your shoes, and you just want to completely disappear. That uncomfortable feeling of wanting to hide in a dark hole is what it means to feel awkward. It is when you feel completely unnatural and unsafe in your own body. But finally, we talked about learning to end a conversation gracefully. The word is gracefully. Think of a small, beautiful yellow leaf falling from a very tall tree in the autumn. It does not drop quickly like a heavy, dangerous rock. It floats. It dances slowly and softly in the wild wind until it gently touches the green grass without making a single sound. To do something gracefully means to do it in a smooth, easy, soft, and beautiful way. There are no sudden stops. There are no loud, nervous noises. That is exactly how we want your English conversations to feel. Now, as we close our journal for today, I have a very simple personal challenge for you. I am not asking you to read another heavy textbook. I am not asking you to sit at your desk and memorize 100 new verbs. For the next 7 days, I want you to give yourself the gift of just 5 minutes, just 5 short minutes a day. I want you to go into your bedroom, close the door, and stand in front of your mirror. Look directly into your own beautiful eyes. Take a deep, slow breath and practice just one of our sound clusters. Say, "I gotta go," over and over again. Say it very slowly, then say it normally, then say it fast. Watch your own lips move. Let your brain see your physical body speaking English. Yes, I will be honest with you. On the very first day, you will feel awkward. You will probably laugh at yourself and think this is silly. But please keep going. By day 4, it will start to feel normal. And by day 7, you will feel powerful. You will realize that you can finally control your own voice. You have spent enough time sitting alone in the shadows. You have spent enough time hiding your beautiful, intelligent thoughts from the world. Your mouth is finally ready to learn how to move. Your voice is waiting to be heard by others. So please do not give up on yourself now. Show up for yourself. Train those physical muscles every single day. Because I know exactly how hard you are trying. I see the quiet effort you are putting into this journey, and I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, I am proud of your progress.